Welcome back, everyone. As you probably guessed from the title and the thumbnail, we're talking about the lights that are available for Olight's November/Thanksgiving flash sale. And essentially, we have three of them that I think you guys in this particular audience are really going to be interested in, and a couple that maybe folks in adjacent audiences, if you will be very interested in. So first up, we have this light right here, which is the baldr-s BL. So the BL stands for blue laser, and basically it is a light laser combo. It's either 100 lumens or 800 lumens, depending on the setting that you are in, which we will show you guys here in just a second as the sun finally goes down. But it has the ability to mount up to a weapon, either with the Glock rail, which is on there now, or it also comes with a 1913 rail. And then you are able to move it, slide it back and forth to get it closer or further away from the trigger guard, just depending on your preferences and your gun and how it lines up. And then you just clamp it down and it stays in place on a handgun. And then basically the controls on it are going to just be to press and hold for constant or click, and then, press and hold for momentary or click for constant. And then down here at the bottom, we have the selector here where you can either go light only, light and laser, or laser only, which is where you get that blue option there. And I think on camera it looks a little bit, it looks a little bit purple. I'm telling you, in real life, it's very blue. It's also a little bit finer in real life than it looks on camera. It's just kind of how cameras and lasers work. But that's how you can do it. That's how you can select it. And then we have our windage and elevation adjustments over here on the right side of the light. The other one that I know you guys are gonna dig is this guy, because it's been on sale before, and it's the PL Turbo. This thing here is a Candela monster, and the pricing that it comes in at, which is like in the 60s, is the cheapest of any high Candela weapon light that I'm aware of, period. So essentially, this one here is going to have the output that you see on your screen, and then additionally we have these similar thing where you can adjust where it sits here by just kind of taking the tension off and then moving it up and down to move it back or forward on your actual light. And the same thing where you can press and hold for momentary and then just click for constant. And again, thing is a Candela monster for sure, and at the price point, it's hard to beat out there. There's not a lot of competitive options for it, and I have a full video on my B channel as well as my Rumble channel on just this light. If you guys are interested in that, you can check it out. But we've been shooting it since, and we've still had zero issues of any kind with it. It does take two CR123A batteries. It is not rechargeable like most of the Olight weapon lights, and that's probably just to get that power out of it. I'm not sure, but of course this one here is rechargeable, and it does come with the USB recharger for it. The last one up that I think this audience is going to dig is this guy here. So it's the Warrior X4. Why do I think you guys are going to dig it? Well, a couple reasons. Number one, it's super high Candela as well, almost 100,000 Candela, and it has a lot of features that this audience would be interested in. It's geared towards defensive use. It does come with a holster as well, if that's something you're interested in, but activation is through our tail cap here, which essentially you can press and you will get a low, and then if you press hard, you get all the lumens, and the geese are very excited about it, as you guys can probably hear, but still has the ability to charge through the tail cap if you want to do that. But it also has this piece right here, which covers it up and makes it, gives it the IPX rating that it has. But if you back it off, you can charge it via a USB-C cable right there on the side. And then it does have a charging indicator as well built into the body of the light. It has good knurling on there. I know there's some folks that like to use different lighting techniques for a fighting type of light, and this one really enables you to do all of that. Additionally, it will fit 1-inch light body mounts if you want to rifle mount it, but it has good knurling on there. It sticks to your hand. It has these vents on there which act as a heat sink on there, because again, it's a very high output light, so it needs that to keep it cool, because like all high output lights, it definitely can get hot. I should mention, guys, if I haven't already, I don't think I have, there will be a link down below in the video description, which is an affiliate link, and that will of course benefit the channel if you guys use it. But if you're looking for any of this stuff at the prices that we're talking about and rolling in here on your screen, that is where you guys can find it. And of course, code Mr. Guns and Gear will get you 10% off any non-sale items over there. Next up is this guy here. It comes in one of two ways. So it either comes as you see it here in this case, or you can get just the light, which is the Baton 4. From what I understand, these are Olight's most popular flashlights out there. Just a ton of output for the size. You can see how small this thing is in my hands. And of course, you can charge it via the tail cap here. It's magnetic as well, so it will stick to whatever you want to put it on. It has our two-way clip on there. And then of course, has a side button that you can work it out with, has the indicator in terms of battery and intensity indicated on the side. And again, just these things are extremely popular. And then you can get it now with a combination of this case, which is a power bank. So not only is it a power bank built specifically for this light, but if you want to use it, you can also use it to charge things via this USB-C port here. And on there, I don't know if you guys can see it right now, but hopefully we'll roll in a photo. It does have the percentage of the power that it has stored up in the power bank. And of course you can close it up there, and it's an option. Again, you can get it either way, with or without. Last light we're going to talk about is this guy here. This is the diffuser, and this is sold typically, excuse me, it is typically used, I should say, with the actual lanyard on there. I'm not a big fan of lanyards on lights, but for the design of this light, it makes a lot of sense. If you want to like clip it around like maybe a zipper or something like that on a jacket or a purse for the ladies, you can clip it around one of your handles there and it would work just fine. But essentially, take this part off, which I have screwed in way too hard for, for a video. And you can see here, it's powered by an AA battery. Any AA battery will work, but the one it comes with is USB-C rechargeable. So it'll last you a long time, and then it tightens down very snug. And the way you actually turn it on is by this side button there, which is very sleek. It's not large and protruding or anything like that. So if you're worried about that, then you don't have to be with this light, but you can just work through the different modes as you can see here, and you'll see here in just a second, and just double click for turbo. So for a single A, excuse me, or a double A powered battery, it's battery light. It's pretty impressive in terms of the size and the output. Speaking of that, let's wait for the sun to go completely down and then take a look at the beam pattern of these particular lights. Starting out with the beam comparison, we have the baldr-s on low, so 100 lumen output with the blue laser. The laser should be pretty visible on camera. It is extremely visible here in person. Just kind of work it through just the light only, and then just the laser only as well. Again, it makes it look a little bit purple on camera. It is totally blue in real life. But getting back to the light, if we just double tap to switch modes, there is the 800 lumen output, and you guys can get an idea there of how that looks. It's not quite a wall of light, but it's pretty darn close. Has a hotspot there in the middle, and then even the flooding area is still pretty bright. So definitely designed for close-in work for sure. And even at 100 lumens, if we go back, again, that spot out there where the wood fence meets the iron fence, where the chair is, about 30 meters away. So back there is about 45, 50 meters. The trees in the furthest back that you guys can see there on camera, so still illuminates them, but definitely get better ID, if you will, with it on high. Here we have the output from the Warrior 4X on low, so just lightly pressing there on the tail cap. You guys can see the hotspot still pretty intense. Definitely a candela light for sure, but the flood is still there. And if we go ahead and go to turbo, boom. So the problem, unfortunately, with running a camera on manual, which we are, is that it just washes out. I mean, the camera can't process that kind of hot spot there. It'll do a little better when we go across the lake, but yeah, I mean, that is intense illumination for sure. Speaking of intense illumination, this is the PL Turbo weapon light. You guys can see there, nice tight hotspot to give you that good candela, but still giving you some situational awareness. And one thing I just kind of want to explain here, or show, if you will, is I just kind of want to bounce the hotspot there off the ground, a little bit off camera, but you can still see that it is still bouncing up a little bit into the fence as well as the flood. So you don't need to orient the light directly at something to illuminate it. So just something to kind of throw out there. Here we have the output from the Baton 4 on low. We're just going to work through the different modes there. So low, medium, high, and then we're going to double click to put it into turbo. Again, that is that tiny little light. Put it up here in front of the camera so you guys can actually verify that is the light that I'm using. So a lot of output for a very small package. Now we're looking at the output from the Diffuse, so that little AA powered light, and just work through the different modes. That is the low setting there. Medium, high. I think you can double click on this one and go into turbo. There you go. That is the output from that little light. For the new folks here, I'm about 10 yards back on my property. The lake edge to edge here is about 110 yards, and then there's a little fishing shack up there that's probably 10 yards back on the neighbor's property. And actually something new right now, we have a light behind the fishing shack, and that's going to give us photonic barrier issues, which is cool for light testing. So I'm glad the neighbors are adding to our fun here. So this right here is going to be the baldr-s with the 800 lumens on there. And I find that when I zoom in rather, it's closer to what I actually see with my human eye than when we're zoomed out. Cameras are a little weird like that, but you can see, you'd be able to tell if somebody was out there on the porch for sure. But also the bush right here on my property is still super well illuminated. So definitely giving you good situational awareness as well. Now we have the output from the Warrior X4 on low, and you can see the candela is still pretty intense, but just a little edge over here on the bush in terms of what it's illuminating there. But if we hit that thing on high, you can tell that is just kind of insane. If somebody was standing out there, you'd be able to tell what they're holding in their hand clearly, just kind of going up in the trees there. It's like the bat signal. And finally, we have the output from the PL Turbo weapon light. Once again, a lot of candela right there focused in the middle. You can see the edge of the spill on the bush there. And if we zoom in there, a lot of candela. Again, that's about 130 yards away. Pretty crazy to see that kind of illumination out of a pistol mounted light. Now that you guys have seen the output of these lights, that really is all I have for you. Again, link will be down below in the video description to pick any of these up, but I think we have some lights here that this audience is really going to dig, particularly these three, particularly this guy, and probably this guy, because I know you guys like your weapon lights. So that is it. That's all I have for you. Thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video.